So on screen, I've got this Final Fantasy IV inspired painting with a couple of characters from that game. And it was kind of a tricky scene to arrange, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk about kind of the structural outline or initial sketch of a painting. So I'll jump right into it. So I don't usually start with a pencil sketch. Typically, I just dive right in with kind of a looser, thinned down oil paint, just kind of a middle hue and value. And I try to assess the entire scene, like where's the position of each character. And I usually start with the head, but sometimes I mark off where the head is, the top of the head versus the bottom of the subject, and just kind of start trying to positionally arrange each character. This is tricky because you kind of have to train your mind to like look at the whole scene instead of like individual components. Like, where is this piece in relation to another piece? Another thing that I find that really helps that I'm doing on screen here is rather than focusing too much on curves, I try to connect lines. I feel like that kind of helps with the angle. So like getting the two subjects in place rather than trying to draw a perfect circle or do anything like that. Here's a line, it's bent to another line, and just connect the lines like that. And don't worry too much on details. I actually got a little too kind of concerned with a couple of details here. Typically, it's just blocks and shapes. Get your shapes, get your lines, get those things roughly connected. You're more so concerned with size and position rather than detailed features. And that's pretty much it. Like getting that loose paint laid down, just a rough structure. And just remember that oil paint is very flexible. It's very forgiving. You can push the paint around later. I've heard other artists refer to it as sculpting almost, rather than like with a pencil, you've got the fine detail, you're trying to do precise lines. That doesn't matter here. You're pushing the paint around, sculpting it into a shape. So like that initial loose outline that you do here, and in this phase of the painting, I'm already starting to move into the blocking, like specific pieces of color in here. So like the outline's done. Now usually I start dark, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I go in the middle, kind of, again, a middle hue and value. But you just start blocking in, and as you block in, you push the paint. It gets sculpted. Where your outline position was, if the arm is wrong, you're kind of moving it again. So like this Final Fantasy IV painting, it was kind of a tricky position, two characters sitting, Cecil and Rydia and a Chocobo behind them. It was kind of tricky. So I thought it might be useful to kind of talk through some of that. But like I've sped this video up significantly now, blocking in the rest of it. And you can see like the color, everything is kind of molding into shape. I did a lot of adjustments on the fly with this one after blocking it or after getting the outline. So kind of a good demonstration of how you can sculpt that paint. And this turned into one that I really liked the result of. So kind of a nice scene that kind of captures the vibe of the game. So that's all I have for this one. If there are any questions, feel free to comment. Thanks for watching. See you next time.